The United States stands at a crossroads. The next 4 years will be a period of profound change, shaping the nation's destiny for decades to come. We are witnessing a transition, a shift in the tectonic plates of power, ideology, and social dynamics. This is not merely a season of political campaigns, it is a defining chapter in the American story. The decisions made and the actions taken in the next 4 years will reverberate through generations. As we navigate this complex landscape, it is imperative to understand the forces at play. Political polarization has reached unprecedented levels, dividing the nation along ideological lines. Globalization continues to reshape the economic order, creating both opportunities and anxieties. Technological advancements are transforming the way we live, work, and interact, while also raising profound ethical questions. The world watches with bated breath as America grapples with these challenges. The outcome of this transition will have global implications, influencing the balance of power, the future of democracy, and the direction of human progress. It is a time for reflection, for engagement, and for a renewed commitment to the ideals that have always defined this nation. The path ahead is fraught with uncertainty. Domestically, the nation is grappling with issues of economic inequality, racial injustice, and political dysfunction. The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed deep societal fissures and tested the limits of American resilience. Meanwhile, on the international stage, the global order is in flux. The rise of new powers, the resurgence of nationalism, and the threat of climate change pose significant challenges to American leadership. The next 4 years will be a test of American democracy. Can a nation so divided find common ground? Can it address its internal challenges while navigating a complex and rapidly changing world? The answers to these questions remain to be seen. What is certain is that the stakes have never been higher. In the face of these challenges, there is reason for both hope and concern. The American spirit of innovation, resilience, and a commitment to democratic ideals has overcome adversity in the past. However, the path forward will require leadership, vision, and the active engagement of all citizens. The next 4 years will demand our attention, our participation, and our unwavering belief in the promise of America. It is a time for courage, for wisdom, and for a collective effort to shape a better future for all. The American political landscape is more fractured than ever. The traditional two-party system, while still dominant, faces pressure from within and without. On the one hand, ideological wings exert increasing influence, pushing Democrats further left and Republicans further right. This internal tug-of-war makes consensus difficult, even on crucial issues facing the nation. Adding to the complexity, smaller parties and independent movements gain traction. Frustration with the status quo, coupled with dissatisfaction towards both major parties, creates fertile ground for alternative voices. Whether these movements gain enough momentum to truly reshape the political order remains to be seen over the next 4 years. This political fragmentation has consequences. Gridlock in government becomes more likely as finding common ground across the divide proves challenging. The ability to address pressing national issues from infrastructure to healthcare is hampered by partisan battles. This can lead to a sense of disillusionment among the electorate, further eroding trust in government. Yet, this period of division also presents an opportunity. The very dissatisfaction fueling the fragmentation can also drive a demand for change. If politicians are willing to listen to the concerns of the people, to engage in dialogue rather than diatribe, then this period of transition could lead to a more responsive and representative government. The next 4 years will be punctuated by pivotal elections that will shape the balance of power in Washington. Midterm elections, always significant, take on even greater weight as they'll serve as a referendum on the sitting president's agenda and the direction of the country. Every seat in the House of Representatives and a significant portion of the Senate will be contested. Beyond Congress, gubernatorial and state legislature races will be crucial. These elections hold the key to issues like voting rights, redistricting and social policy, with implications that extend far beyond state lines. The outcomes will have a profound impact on the political landscape for years to come. Control of Congress hinges on these upcoming elections. Will one party solidify its grip on power, or will we see a continuation of the divided government that has become the norm? A divided Congress makes it difficult to pass meaningful legislation, often leading to legislative gridlock. A unified government, while potentially more efficient, also carries the risk of unchecked power. The stakes are high. The outcome of these elections will determine the legislative agenda for the next 4 years. It will impact everything from healthcare and education to climate change and foreign policy. The American people hold the power in their hands to choose the direction of their nation. Beyond the immediate battle for control, deeper shifts are occurring within the parties themselves. Demographic changes in the electorate, evolving social values, and new voices challenging the status quo are forcing both Democrats and Republicans to reassess their platforms and strategies. This internal realignment will be crucial in determining the future direction of each party. For the Democrats, the challenge lies in balancing the demands of its progressive wing with the need to appeal to a broader, more moderate electorate. Issues like income inequality, social justice, and climate change are top priorities for the party's base, but finding solutions that can garner wider support will be key to electoral success. Republicans face their own set of challenges. The party must grapple with the legacy of its recent past, particularly the rise of populism and nationalism. How to appeal to a changing electorate while staying true to its core principles will be a key question for the party moving forward. Maintaining party unity amidst these internal debates will be crucial. These internal shifts within both parties will shape the political landscape for years to come. The ability of each party to adapt to the changing demographics and evolving values of the electorate will determine their long-term viability. The next 4 years will be a critical period of adaptation and evolution for both Democrats and Republicans. America, a nation built on immigration, a tapestry woven from threads of countless cultures, a symphony of accents and traditions. It's a core part of the national identity, yet immigration policy remains one of the most contentious issues of our time. The next 4 years will be pivotal in shaping how this debate unfolds, with consequences for millions within and seeking entry to the United States. At the heart of the issue lies a fundamental question. What does it mean to be American? Is it a matter of birthright or a shared set of values embraced by those who choose to make this land their home? The answer, as complex as the issue itself, is often clouded by political rhetoric and emotional appeals that obscure the human stories at stake. The economic impact of immigration further fuels the debate. Proponents argue that immigrants boost the economy, filling labor gaps, starting businesses, and contributing to the nation's overall prosperity. Opponents, however, express concern about the strain on social services, potential job displacement for native-born workers, and downward pressure on wages. Navigating this complex landscape requires a nuanced approach, recognizing the economic contributions of immigrants while ensuring a fair and equitable system for all, regardless of their origin, is paramount. The next 4 years will test the nation's ability to balance these competing interests and forge a path forward on immigration that reflects its values and aspirations. The physical and metaphorical walls surrounding immigration policy will be a focal point in the coming years. Border security, a long-standing concern, continues to dominate the discussion. The debate over how to best secure the nation's borders while upholding humanitarian principles remains unresolved. Beyond physical barriers, the next 4 years will see a struggle over legal pathways to immigration. The system, often criticized as outdated and inefficient, faces calls for reform from across the political spectrum. Streamlining the process for legal immigration, addressing backlogs, and creating new avenues for skilled workers and entrepreneurs to contribute to the American economy will be key challenges. The human cost of restrictive policies cannot be ignored. Families separated at the border, asylum seekers caught in bureaucratic limbo, and undocumented immigrants living in fear of deportation are stark reminders of the real-world impact of these decisions. The debate over DACA, the program protecting undocumented immigrants brought to the US as children, highlights the moral and societal dilemmas at play. Finding a balance between enforcing immigration laws and upholding humanitarian values will require careful consideration and a commitment to finding solutions that are both practical and compassionate. The next 4 years will be a test of the nation's ability to reconcile its laws with its conscience on the issue of immigration. The United States has long been a beacon of hope for refugees fleeing persecution and violence in their homelands. The next 4 years will test the nation's commitment to this role as global displacement reaches unprecedented levels due to conflict, climate change, and economic hardship. How America responds to this growing humanitarian crisis will have far-reaching consequences, both for those seeking refuge and for the nations standing in the world. The debate over refugee resettlement often centers around security concerns versus humanitarian obligations. Striking a balance between protecting national security and providing safe haven for those in need is a delicate task. The vetting process for refugees, already rigorous, may face increased scrutiny, potentially slowing down the resettlement process and leaving vulnerable populations in limbo. Beyond the numbers, it's essential to remember the human stories at the heart of this issue. Refugees are not statistics. They are individuals and families who have endured unimaginable hardships in search of a better life. Their resilience, their determination, and their contributions to their adopted communities are a testament to the human spirit. The way America treats refugees in the next 4 years will speak volumes about its values. It's an opportunity to reaffirm its commitment to compassion, to demonstrate global leadership, and to harness the talents and potential of those seeking to rebuild their lives. The challenge lies in finding a way forward that balances security concerns with humanitarian principles, ensuring that America remains a beacon of hope for those seeking refuge and a place where newcomers can find belonging and contribute to the national fabric. The world stage is no longer a familiar backdrop for American dominance. The next 4 years will see the nation navigating a geopolitical landscape undergoing a seismic shift. Old alliances are strained, new partnerships emerge, and the global balance of power tilts on its axis. How the US responds to these tectonic shifts will determine its place in the world for decades to come. Gone are the days of unipolarity, where American power reigned supreme. The rise of China, both economically and militarily, presents the most significant challenge to the established world order. This new era demands a recalibration of American foreign policy, one that recognizes the limits of unilateral action and the need for strategic engagement. The global war on terror, once the defining feature of American foreign policy, has also evolved. While the threat of terrorism remains real and dangerous, it no longer occupies the central stage. Instead, the focus has shifted to great power competition, cyber warfare, and the destabilizing effects of climate change. This complex and evolving landscape requires a nuanced and strategic approach. The next 4 years will test America's ability to adapt to this new reality, to build bridges with allies old and new, and to confront challenges with a combination of strength and diplomacy. The world is watching, and America's response will shape the future of global order. The traditional alliances that have underpinned American foreign policy for decades are facing unprecedented strain. NATO, the cornerstone of transatlantic security, grapples with questions about its relevance in a world no longer defined by the Cold War. Differences in strategic priorities, burden sharing, and even fundamental values have created fissures within the alliance. The next 4 years will be crucial in determining whether these alliances can be repaired and strengthened, or whether they will continue to erode, leaving the US increasingly isolated on the world stage. Rebuilding trust and finding common ground will require a concerted effort on all sides. At the same time, the US is forging new partnerships driven by shared interests rather than historical ties. The rise of China has led to a realignment of alliances in the Asia-Pacific region, with countries seeking to balance their relationships with both superpowers. This presents both challenges and opportunities for the US as it seeks to maintain its influence in this strategically vital region. Navigating this complex web of alliances will require a deft hand and a clear-eyed assessment of American interests. The next 4 years will be a delicate balancing act, requiring the US to nurture its traditional alliances while simultaneously building new partnerships to address the challenges of a changing world. Section 3. Navigating a multipolar world. The transition to a multipolar world, where power is distributed among multiple centers rather than concentrated in the hands of one, presents both challenges and opportunities for the United States. On the one hand, it diminishes the ability of the US to unilaterally dictate the terms of global engagement. On the other hand, it creates space for new forms of cooperation and burden sharing. The rise of China, in particular, has fundamentally altered the geopolitical landscape. China's economic clout, military modernization, and assertive foreign policy have forced the US to confront the reality of a peer competitor. The next 4 years will be critical in defining the terms of this rivalry, determining whether it leads to conflict or a new era of strategic coexistence. Beyond China, other powers are also asserting themselves on the world stage. Russia, seeking to reclaim its lost superpower status, is flexing its muscles in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Regional powers like Iran, Turkey, and India are playing increasingly influential roles in their respective neighborhoods. In this multipolar world, the US can no longer afford to act unilaterally. It must embrace multilateralism, working through international institutions and forging coalitions to address global challenges. The next 4 years will test America's ability to adapt to this new reality, to build bridges rather than walls, and to lead through diplomacy and cooperation rather than solely through military might. America, a nation perpetually in motion, a canvas constantly repainted by the brushstrokes of demographic change. The next 4 years will see this evolution continue, reshaping the nation's social and political landscape. Understanding these shifts is crucial to grasping the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Perhaps the most dramatic change is the browning of America. The growth of Hispanic, Asian, and multiracial populations transforms the nation's cultural fabric, challenging traditional notions of identity and belonging. This increasing diversity brings vibrancy, new perspectives, and a richness of experience, yet it also fuels anxieties about cultural cohesion and national unity. Beyond ethnicity, generational change also plays a significant role. As baby boomers age and millennials and Gen Z come of age, their differing values and priorities will increasingly influence the political landscape. From climate change to social justice to the role of government, these generational divides will shape policy debates and electoral outcomes. These demographic shifts are not happening in isolation. They intersect with economic trends, technological advancements, and social movements to create a complex and dynamic society. The challenge for America in the next 4 years will be to harness this dynamism, to create a society that is both inclusive and cohesive, where opportunity is available to all, regardless of background or belief. Despite its history as a nation built on immigration and diversity, America today grapples with deep divisions. Political polarization, racial tensions, and economic inequality have created a sense of fragmentation, eroding the shared values and sense of common purpose that have long bound the nation together. The rise of social media, while connecting individuals in unprecedented ways, has also contributed to the echo chamber effect, reinforcing existing biases and making it harder to bridge divides. The spread of misinformation and disinformation further exacerbates these challenges, eroding trust in institutions and fueling societal polarization. The challenge for America in the next 4 years will be to find common ground amidst these divisions. This will require leadership that appeals to shared values, that prioritizes dialogue over division, and that seeks to understand and address the root causes of inequality and injustice. It will also require a commitment from citizens to engage in respectful dialogue, to challenge their own biases, and to seek common ground with those who hold different views. Building a more unified nation will not be easy. It will require a sustained effort from all segments of society, from government and institutions to individuals and communities. But the rewards are great. A more unified America will be a stronger America, better equipped to face the challenges of the 21st century and to live up to its ideals of equality, opportunity, and justice for all. In the face of these challenges and opportunities, the role of the individual citizen has never been more important. The next 4 years will be a defining moment for American democracy, and the outcome will depend on the active engagement of its citizens. It is easy to feel powerless in the face of such complex issues, but the truth is that every voice matters. Every vote cast, every letter written to a representative, every conversation about important issues with friends and family has the power to make a difference. Civic engagement is not a spectator sport. It requires active participation. The promise of America lies in its ability to constantly evolve, to learn from its mistakes, and to strive towards a more perfect union. This progress is not inevitable. It requires the active participation of its citizens. It requires a willingness to engage in the difficult conversations, to challenge the status quo, and to hold leaders accountable. The next 4 years will be a test, not only of American democracy, but of the American spirit. It will require courage, compassion, and a commitment to the common good. But if history is any guide, the American people will rise to the challenge. They will embrace the opportunity to shape their nation's destiny and build a brighter future for all. The next 4 years will be a crucible for the American experiment. The choices made, both by those in power and by citizens themselves, will reverberate far beyond the immediate future. It will be a time of testing, of questioning long-held assumptions, and of forging new paths forward. The stakes are high, but so too is the potential for positive change. The challenges are undeniable. Political polarization threatens to paralyze the nation, preventing it from addressing pressing issues. Social divisions run deep, fueled by economic inequality and racial injustice. The global landscape is in flux, challenging America's traditional role and demanding a recalibration of its foreign policy. And all the while, the clock is ticking on existential threats like climate change, demanding urgent action. Yet, amidst these challenges, there is also hope. America has faced difficult times before, and each time it has emerged stronger, its values reaffirmed. The nation's diversity, often cited as a source of division, is also its greatest strength, a wellspring of creativity, innovation, and resilience. The American spirit of ingenuity, of a willingness to challenge the status quo and strive for a better tomorrow, remains a powerful force for change. The next 4 years will be a test of the nation's character, its ability to confront its demons and live up to its ideals. It will require leadership, vision, and most importantly, the active engagement of its citizens. For it is in the hands of the American people that the power to shape the future ultimately lies. The American story is not yet written. It is a narrative that is constantly being shaped and reshaped by the actions of each generation. The next 4 years offer a unique opportunity to contribute to this ongoing narrative, to help steer the nation towards a more just, equitable, and prosperous future. This requires more than simply observing from the sidelines. It demands active participation in the democratic process, from engaging in informed debate to holding elected officials accountable. It means staying informed about the issues that matter, seeking out diverse perspectives and engaging in respectful dialogue with those who hold different views. It also means looking beyond the next election cycle to the long-term health and well-being of the nation. It means investing in education, infrastructure, and innovation. It means addressing the root causes of inequality and injustice. And it means embracing the principles of sustainability, ensuring that future generations inherit a planet that is healthy and vibrant. The next 4 years will be a time of transition, of uncertainty, and of great possibility. The choices made during this critical period will have a profound impact on the trajectory of the nation for decades to come. It is a time for courage, for compassion, and for a renewed commitment to the ideals that have always defined America at its best. The future is not preordained, it is ours to create.